I want to share with you guys a little bit about what happened. Like, I would never treat someone like that. Like, at least I wouldn't intend to. And especially if they told me about it and I continue to do it, like, that would make me feel like a shitty person. Yeah, I'm gonna pass out. It is way too damn hot in this car. Gotta open my windows. I got my door open. But look, it is 26 degrees right now, and it's probably even hotter. I'm sick. But anyway, we are on the way to Jungle Gyms because I'm working from 5 until close tonight, so that's interesting. Just wanted to let you guys know that I quit my job at Jungle Gyms, and it might have been one of the best decisions that I've ever made. So while I was there, it was good for like the first 3 months, but then when we started getting to like the busy summer months, it started to like go downhill real quick. And I don't know, it seemed like the summer busyness kind of got to everyone. It made everyone a little bit more agitated, a little bit more aggressive. Um, and that wasn't a place that I could see myself working because I would try and come in with a positive attitude, but then like not due to one person at all, but just due to like the overall environment, it like caused me to be less positive, put pressure on me to do better, and then I made more mistakes. And I feel like that was kind of the same for everyone else. Um, like I understand it's busy season, like we have to like be quick, but it just wasn't somewhere that I wanted to stay. You know, like sometimes that's okay. And coming from a people pleaser, it was a really hard thing to do because I thought that every one of my coworkers would hate me afterwards. But they didn't. They understood where I was coming from. They don't hate me. Let's hope not. Um, but if something in your life is weighing on you that much, it's probably better off not being in your life at all, or at least coming up with compromises or solutions that might make it more tolerable. Um, which I tried to do for a while, but it just wasn't working out. So that's why we're here at the Lantern. This is the place we'll be playing Batty. I'm thinking we take two of those, bring them up here, take off the blue curtain, and just put like something that just covers the middle. Got my milk for our cold foam. Let's go ahead and pour a little bit of brown sugar into the mix as well afterwards. Let's go ahead and flat that. I might have added a little bit too much milk, but that's okay. We've got our DVD coffee cup. Let's go ahead and open that up. And I've got my ice here. Of espresso or shot of coffee. It's not really espresso, but you get the idea. We got our caramel syrup, so I'm going to do straight into the hot coffee, by the way, because that way it dissolves easier. 1, 2, 3 and a half. I'm also going to add some caramel to my glass. Perfect. Some milk. That's how it should look. Grab some of that, scoop it in. For the gram, of course, like I said. Beautiful. And that's the iced coffee done. It is currently course registration time for the fall semester. So I have my little planner here with my CRNs, and I'm just double checking to make sure I have all the right numbers. But my registration time is in 10 minutes. I'm hoping that I get all the classes that I want.
It's so close for me.
So an Acura and a Mazda walk into a bar. Oh! Alright, so I haven't really vlogged in a little bit. So just in case you aren't aware, there are like active wildfires literally everywhere and very close to where I live. As you can see, it's like pretty smoky out there. And when I got off work yesterday, it was so smoky. Like I literally could barely breathe. It was crazy. And we also have a heat warning. It's like, it's not good. But I just got paid today, so I'm gonna go to Walmart and get some like fly traps because I accidentally left a banana peel in my garbage can and there are flies everywhere. And I also need a portable AC because I can't open any windows because there's smoke everywhere. And also I need soap, I think. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's go get that. The reason I started this channel was to kind of use it as like a diary, obviously for everyone else to see as well. But I wanted to be very like forthcoming, very like truthful because I didn't want to like be able to watch it back like a year or two later and like not really understand what was happening, you know, because I wanted to be very real and I just don't want to forget, you know, these things in my life. I want to share with you guys a little bit about what happened. When I started university, I had two like real best friends, right? Like it was like a trio. And going into the year, it was fine. Like the fall was amazing. Like we were super close. We'd talk all the time. And then into January, one of my friends, one of my best friends, got a boyfriend and she kind of started to withdraw from the group a little bit, which I mean, I know that's normal because like obviously you're going to be putting more time into them than you are like the friends, but it would get to a point where it was like she'd ignore us for like with no response. And I was like, I don't deserve this. You know, like I've been a super great friend to you like all the time. Like when you needed someone to vent to, I was there for you. When you broke up with your last boyfriend, or when he broke up with you, rather, I was there for you. And through all their like relationship troubles that she's been going through currently, I still was there. But she didn't want to put that effort back into me. I tried talking to her at first. I was like, hey, like, I feel a lack of effort on your part into our friendship, and I don't think that's great. Like, I would like to feel that I'm valued in our friendship because we had been friends for like 3 years. And anytime I talked to her about it, she would just be like, yeah, like, sorry, I'm just really busy. And I'm like, I'm busy too. Like, I work two jobs, full time at one, part time at another. and I probably work more hours than she did. Plus, I like volunteer, do my small business stuff on the side, stream, and I don't know. It just felt like she wasn't putting in the effort. And I was like, I understand you're busy, but so am I. But I'm taking time out of my day to contact you, to reach out to you. But she wasn't doing the same for me. All right. So yeah, like I said, she wasn't really putting in the effort into our friendship like I wanted her to. So it felt like when she would ignore me and my other best friend, and she wouldn't, like, she'd read her texts, but she wouldn't respond to them, or she wouldn't even like react to them, like hard to let us know that she saw it. But I had already spoken to her about that. I was like, if you don't have time, just heart the message. Like, you have time to read it because you're reading them. So it just didn't really make sense to me. But I was like, I would never treat someone like that. Like, at least I wouldn't intend to. And especially if they told me about it and I continued to do it, like, that would make me feel like a shitty person. And she continued to do that, and she came out to visit me. Same thing with my other best friend. So they both came here to my house, and it was great. It was super fun. But the whole time she was complaining about my car that broke down, and she was like, how am I supposed to get to the airport to go back home? How am I supposed to get from my boyfriend's parents' house to your place? And I was like, I already told you that I wouldn't be able to do that because I'm not comfortable driving in those parts of the city yet, or outside the city. Um, so she knew that before going into it. But my car had broken down. My brakes completely gave out. But she made me feel like it was my fault. And I was like, what? Like, this ain't my fault. I didn't plan for this to happen. I was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, I can't afford a taxi. I can't afford a cab. And I was like, she made me feel so bad for it that I actually reached out to my own neighbor and was like, hey, what are you doing, like, in a week's time? Like, would you be able to take my friend that she had never even met to the airport? And she didn't even offer gas money or anything like that. I was like, I felt so bad for reaching out to the neighbor, but I also felt so bad for my car breaking down, which wasn't even my fault, that I felt obligated to reach out to her and be like, hey, I need a favor. Can you can you bring my inconsiderate friend to the airport? And that was like when I realized the friendship was not doing well. It was not in a good place. Then she went back home and she ignored me for like 2 weeks. Didn't reach out, didn't say, how are you? Didn't ever do any of that. But she was texting my other best friend. I was telling my best friend about that. I was like, hey, like, G hasn't been texting me or responding or anything like that for 2 weeks. And she was like, oh, like, reach out to her and see what's up. I was like, yeah, like, I'm going to have to because this is really weird because she's texting you. And I was like, did I do something to make her mad or something? I was like, is she still upset about my car being broke down? Like, I don't know. I reached out to her and she was like, hey, like, I don't think I'm interested in being friends anymore. Like, it was great, all the memories we shared and the fun times we had. And she was like, I noticed a lot of conflict between us, even if it's just joking. And I don't really want to continue with that in my life. And I was like, okay. Because the entire time that we had like joking conflict on the trip that she was out here, she initiated every single time. Like, it sounds like I'm like twisting the truth, but I swear to God, and I don't believe in God, but I swear to God, she initiated every little conflict, every little like joke that was like passive aggressive, I guess. And then she was also like, every time I hang out with you, I feel like I have to like put down other people or talk shit about other people. And I was like, this entire trip, I feel like we didn't do that, like, at all. And I was like, that feels like more of a you problem than it is a me problem. Because I don't feel that way when I hang out with you. I feel like I can do whatever I want to do. I feel like I can, like, you know, go for a car ride, listen to music, have fun. I can make supper for you while you're asleep on the couch and not even gonna help or offer to help at all. um, but yeah, so that was very confusing to me because like the entire trip we didn't really say anything bad about anyone. We were just like catching up on like what had gone on in each other's lives. So that was very confusing to me, and I think she associates me, like myself now, going into second year of university. I've made a lot of progress and development in myself, but she associates like high school me, which was a person who used to do that, with my current self, which clearly she was not invested in the friendship if she does not know that I'm no longer anything like that. Felt that she had to like put other people down when she was in my presence, and I'm like, I don't recall any specific memory of doing that over our like 3 days that we had together. The only time that I remember something similar to that was when we started playing this game Tapple, where you go around saying things that start with like all the letters of the alphabet and you're like timed, but you have like categories, and like we first started playing, like she never played it before, so I picked one up and it was like animals, or I think it was like grocery items or something like that. So I was like, okay, let's do grocery items, and we went around, and then we didn't really know how to play it, so like we didn't press the thing in the middle every time, so the timer ran out. She was like, okay, let's do people from your school, and I was like, okay. And she picked up, I don't know what card it was, but it was something like mysteries, and then she went around saying like blank's love life or the incident in the bathroom, and I was like, do you just want to like stick to the categories? And she was like, no, like this is more fun. I'm like, okay. She did that, like I didn't think anything of it. I wasn't like, oh that's mean. I was just like, I'm sick of high school, let's just play like a different category. So I'm not saying like she was mean, but I was just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm just sick of talking about high school people, right? I want to move on with my life. Like, when she like said all that to me, I was so confused because I was like, I feel like I didn't do any of that this trip. So either A, you're thinking back to past experiences like back in high school, which is not really fair to me because I'm changed as a person, or B, you're doing what you're telling me I'm doing, but you're blaming it on me. Which one is it, G? I'm not going to get into the last point because that's a bit personal, but it was once again another thing that was like, she was like, oh, like I was scared to say anything because I was scared you were going to judge me about blank. But every time she brought something up about this, she was like, oh, I'm annoyed by it, or oh, I hate this. And I was like, okay, but like, here's some positive things about this. And like, she felt like she was trying to reiterate the point that she hated this thing. But when she texted me in this big long paragraph saying why she didn't want to be friends, is because she was scared I was going to judge her for actually wanting it or liking it. And I was like, the entire time I was trying to like counteract what you were saying. I was trying to be like, oh, here's some positive things about blank, and not every blank is bad, right? So I don't know, but I mean, I have been doing some like self-development since then, and like talking to my therapist, looking online, doing a little bit of tarot reading, stuff like that, and it feels like she doesn't want a friend like myself that calls her out on her shit. She wants people who are going to take what she says exactly for what it is and not argue with it, not make her think twice about saying it. And I'm not going to do that for anyone. I want to be real with my friends. I want to be truthful. And if you say something that's a little bit fucked up, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm not going to fester it down or push it down, let it fester and then explode and then ghost you or block you or whatever. That's not how I am. I'm very confrontational. But yeah, so that's my rant.